Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and a very warm welcome to all participants and jury members to the Malaysian chapter of the AIM Startups Virtual Pitch Competition 2020. My name is Elvin Liao, and I will be your host for today's event. Let me first start off by saying thank you to all participants for patiently waiting for today's competition. As we all know, the competition was originally scheduled to be held in March as a physical competition and was since postponed due to the COVID-19 pandemic outbreak and the nationwide lockdown. On behalf of the co-organizers, RHL Ventures and MDEC, we are pleased to resume our partnership with AIM and the Ministry of Economy of the United Arab Emirates in our journey to discover disruptive companies and competitive solutions within the Malaysian startup ecosystem. AIM, short for the Annual Investment Meeting, is the largest investment platform in the world. As an initiative of the UAE's Ministry of Economy, AIM has been promoting a healthier global economy by linking investment opportunities to fast-growing economies under several key pillars: foreign direct investment, foreign portfolio investment, small and medium enterprises, future cities, a One Belt, One Road special event, and startups, which is our key focus for today. We are excited to listen to each of the 10 shortlisted applicants showcase their company's product and solutions as they compete for a chance to represent Malaysia at the final AIM 2020 Global Startups Champions League in Dubai later this year. To officiate this competition, we would like to invite Raja Hamza Abidin, co-founder and managing partner of RHL Ventures, to say a few words on behalf of the co-organizers. Hamza, over to you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
Perfect.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to do this pitching session online. I think this is an interesting time for everyone on stage and all the judges. It's my first online-based judging that I've done since the COVID situation hit. I think we are in a very unique scenario at the moment where traveling is limited, business obviously affected, but at the same time, I think trade links and investments are probably more important than ever to increase the flow of capital and also help the growth of our startups and tech companies in the ecosystem. I think technology can be used at this time to effect great change to society and to different countries. And this initiative by the United Arab Emirates and their Ministry of Economy will go a long way in increasing the links between Southeast Asia and the Middle East. I believe this is one of the strategic direction that our country can go to actually help our startups, both from a business development perspective, but also from a capital perspective. As some of the listeners may know, Malaysia is still very much backed by banks. As in capital is backed by primarily banks. 90% of capital is driven by banks over here. So we as market participants across the different life cycle investments are trying to play a greater part in increasing the vitality of investments across private and non-bank type financial institutions. That's why on the panel we have a variety of panelists from SME Corp, who's in charge of the SME Development Agency in Malaysia. We have a panelist from MDEC, who's in charge of tech digitization and innovation in Malaysia. We're from the Islamic Development Bank. So I think it's a nice link of different panelists from a variety of backgrounds to help Malaysian startups get to the regional and also the global stage. So I believe the government is very positive in terms of helping the startups and tech space. There's been a lot of flurry of initiatives announced for startups in the recent Penjana package announced by the federal government. So I believe this trend will continue, and I hope that by doing this initiative, this will help springboard some of Malaysia's best startups to the global stage. And at this time where COVID is affected, I think leveraging technology is the best and only way to push our startups forward. So I'll leave it as that. And I wish all the startups today the best of luck, and we'll hopefully see you either in person or in Dubai soon.
All right. Thank you for the opening remarks, Hamza. All right. Before we begin, Allow me to first introduce the members of our jury panel for today's competition. From RHL Ventures, we have Raja Hamza Abidin, co-founder and managing partner of the firm. Next, we have Encik Nurhizam Abdul Qadir, Vice President of the FinTech and Islamic Digital Economy Division at MDEC. From the Islamic Development Bank, we have Mr. Mohammed Abida, Acting Head of the ISDB Center of Excellence. From the IE Business School, we have Professor Emilio Escartin, Professor of Islamic Finance. And finally, from SME Corp Malaysia, we have Encik Ritaudin Makib, Chief Officer of Ecosystem Development, who will be off stage due to technical difficulties. To all the jury members, thank you so much for carving out time from your busy schedules to be part of this competition. Before we hand over the floor to the first presenter, allow us to recap on the format and rules of the pitching competition. First, each startup will be given 5 minutes for the pitch, followed by another 5 minutes Q&A session with our panel of juries. Second, timekeeping for the 5 minutes pitch will be managed via an on-screen countdown timer. However, please take note that timekeeping for the 5 minutes Q&A session will be managed via the chat room by the organizing team due to the platform only allowing a maximum of 6 screens on stage at once. A countdown timer for the Q&A session will only be used if any of the jury members are unable to come on stage. Third, kindly refrain from posting any messages, including promotional materials, in the chat room unless you are a jury member or part of the organizing team. Fourth, in order to ensure minimal disruption throughout the competition, please keep yourself on mute at all times unless you are the speaker. Fifth, scoring by the juries for each startup will take place right after each presentation and Q&A session. Jury members, as soon as you are done scoring the company, please post a message stating done in the chat room. Finally, the overall scores will be tallied up at the end of the competition, followed by an announcement of the overall winner and national champion during the closing segment of today's competition. If any participants happen to come across any technical difficulties, please do refresh your web browser or log out and log back in once again. Otherwise, please switch to another web browser. The webinar platform is supported by Google Chrome, Firefox, Safari, and Microsoft Edge. All right, without further ado, let us begin with the competition. For our first contestant today, we have Sticks Fresh, which is represented by Zafri Zainuddin, inventor, co-founder, and CEO of the company. Founded in 2017, Sticks Fresh produces an all-natural sticker that significantly increases the shelf life of certain fruits by simply peeling and applying the sticker onto the fruit. Zafri, over to you and good luck.
Hello, can you hear me? All right, thank you everyone. It's a great honor to be here today and to be able to share what Stick Fresh can offer to you. So I can see the deck actually. Yeah.
Give us a moment. Let us get the deck.
All right.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right.
And we have the countdown timer on screen as well.
All right. Okay. I'm Zafri from Stick Fresh. It's a great honor to be here and to be able to share with you what Stick Fresh can offer to the world. So basically, what we develop Stick Fresh stickers, a simple, all natural, safe stickers that can increase the shelf life of most fruits. We have draft approval in accordance of FDA requirements. We also have our patent internationally that we registered in January 2018. So this is how Stick Fresh works. Basically, plants produce natural compounds to protect themselves. We extract that compound and produce it in the form of stickers. These stickers will create a protective barrier around the fruits and keep your fruit fresh longer. So as you can see here, this study shows the result of Stick Fresh formulation compared to control and plain stickers where fungi multiply after 4 and 8 days, whereby the fungi growth is inhibited under Stick Fresh environment. So Stick Fresh work best on 8 types of fruits for now, such as star fruits, kiwis, apple, pears, avocados, dragon fruits, mangoes, and citrus fruits. We are also partnering with our local universities like University Putra Malaysia and Mar. So this is our competitors. What set us apart? First, we are the only sticker-based technology in the world today. Ours is so easy to use, minimally invasive, where it does not disrupt food business, and it can be applied anywhere along the entire supply chain. And most of these companies located in US and Europe, we are the only one in Asia. So this is the future looks like for Stick Fresh. Our core technology will apply to more than fresh produce. We will go for boxes, sheet liners, packets, sprays, and to dairy, meat, seafood, and cut flowers. Okay, this is some of the names who have been recognizing us for the past 2 years, and most of it from the States. All right, this is some local names. Actually, Stick Fresh has managed to gain some publicity here in Malaysia and also in Singapore. We also have been featured in the local newspaper and also radio. So this is our current production. We are now able to produce 6 million pieces a month, located in Seremban, Negeri Sembilan. So our plan is to penetrate Asian market. The total market size is about 155 billion in Asia. Studies indicate that 7 to 8% is the average loss at retail level, amounting at 12 billion total addressable market for Stick Fresh in Asia. Okay, this is the interesting part is actually we are trying our best to venture into digital world. We believe that science alone cannot cater this huge and lucrative market. The keyword is traceability. With all these components, we want to create a very comprehensive database and inventory system which can enhance food supply chain, and also, of course, it will reduce food wastage. All right, we have 4 targeted source of revenue for now. Number 1, we for the licensing agreement. The licensing agreement, which is we appoint manufacturers to produce our stickers and distribute to the exporters and importers of fruits around the world. Number 2, retailers and sellers utilize our stickers and battery system. And number 3, entrepreneurs who buy fruit from Stick Fresh, and the government of countries who leverage our expertise in food and safety and standards. All right, this is my final slide. I believe this is the description of our funding needs. Basically, we want to boost our product development and, of course, our sales and marketing to educate people to promote our brand, as well our operational costs to expand new markets.
All right, Zafri, thank you very much. Your 5 minutes is up already.
Okay,
thank you very much for the exciting presentation. All right, and now I would like to invite our panel of juries on stage for the Q&A session. As a gentle reminder, the Q&A session will last for only 5 minutes. Our organizers will be posting reminder messages in the chat room as we approach the end of the 5 minutes allocated. So please be on the lookout for that. Jury members, you may now begin with your questions.
Okay, from Muhammad Itaruddin is, how do you plan to penetrate new market, especially in Asian and regional? Or basically, our target, we are trying our best to work very close with the retailers such as the Aeon, who has in Japan, Thailand, and also Philippines. So basically, we will offer them normally stickers and provide us an inventory system that we created to prove them with the application of Stick Fresh. They will be able to reduce food wastage and also increase of sales.
Okay. Okay. One question here. You are
targeting, you're seeking about 1 million.
Can't hear you, sir.
Yeah, and which are going to be the uses of this much?
Hello, can you say again? Say again.
All right, so you have the breakdown here. So the other question is, how much is the burn rate at this point of time, monthly based? So the cash that you are burning each month.
This month, all right, each month, normally in US dollar, I roughly around 10 to 15,000 US dollar for now.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you expect to call another funding round in the coming months after this 1 million coming in?
Yes, actually, for 1 million, this is our first phase. We are looking for second phase and continuous phase of funding. Actually, yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yep. All right. Thank you.
Who do you? I have a question.
All right.
Who do you usually sell to? Is it the fruit distributors like the Del Montes of the world, or is it the supermarkets? Or I mean, I'm just trying to understand who's your end client and how is your progress of securing them. Also, also keeping in mind that they have usually quite strict payment terms. So I'm just trying to understand your execution strategy.
All right. Okay. This is for our four main revenue source. For now, actually, we are licensed our formulations to manufacturer, and that manufacturer, like we call it, the company name Every Medicine. We sell, we will sell the stickers to exporters and importers, like you say, Del Monte, Dole Fruits, CP Fruit from Thailand. Number two, we are direct sell it to retailers and wholesalers. Plus, and then we also have a very strong cash flow with our fruit sale, that we provide fruits with stick press stickers. This is our four main revenue source for today.
So, what kind of difficulties you faced in raising funds and financial resources?
Okay, for now, actually, is for us, we are from R&D segment. So people are from in Asia, for example, people are scared to fund if we have element of R&D, right? So in Asia, they are more towards digital world. So for us, I'm having difficulty because our background is from R&D.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Maybe the last question would be, what sort of exit strategy might you offer to any new investor in the company?
This is a very interesting question. Yep. Basically, we are new in the markets. We are new in the markets. So people who want to invest in us, normally we give them the shares, and we value the companies properly.
What's your gross sales and traction at the moment? I think it's a question by Mr. Ritaudian.
Hello. The gross sales, basically, for this pandemic, we are doing really good. Actually, people are start purchasing because the fruits are getting rotten, and so we can say that this is a good month for us. Actually, we have orders like average 200,000 pieces a month now that we supply to Jabatan Pertanian Malaysia. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
All right, guys. Our 5 minutes allocated for Q&A is up. Thank you very much for all the questions and feedback provided. Jury members. Right. Thank you, Zafri. Jury members, you may now begin scoring the company. Please drop a message in the chat room once you are done. Thank you very much. All right, let's just give a moment for Mr. Abida to complete scoring for Sticks Fresh. All right, thank you, Mr. Abida. All right, let's move on. Up next, we have GoGet, which is represented by Francesca Chia, the company's co-founder and CEO. Founded in 2014, GoGet establishes itself as a community platform, part-time help by using a marketplace between flexible workers and businesses. Francesca, over to you and all the best.
Thank you. 12 million. That is the total number of people that belong to the B40 segment of Malaysia. And majority of them are informally employed or finding it hard to make ends meet. Meet Zamri. Despite him working hard, he's finding it hard to make ends meet to pay off his expenses. And he has little to no real financial solutions to help him save easily, for him to borrow, for him to even get loans, and more. And on the other side, meet Bake KL, one of the SMEs who is an online bake store. And for them, manpower is their main problem. It's difficult to find reliable people, and it's hard to retain. Bake KL represents over 1 million of SMEs in Malaysia. GoGet is a marketplace between flexible workers and businesses. We essentially connect businesses to verified go-getters to help them grow their business. And on one end, the business can create jobs on demand, get matched instantly, and build a team. The services that we cover can range from operations, finance admin, sales, and even customer service. For the go-getters, they're able to find jobs that they prefer. They get to track their earnings and finances. And on top of that, they can continuously get upskilled and stay protected. We work with companies from all range, from super large MNCs that use us to grow their on-demand workforce for a new venture, to the tiny SMEs that use us for their everyday teammate. And to date, we've distributed more than 18 million ringgit of income to the go-getter community and impacted over 12,000 go-getters. Our vision is to build a sustainable future of work, because we believe we can do that by doing three things. The first is to give them the learning and skilling opportunities. The second is to provide them networks and careers. And the third is financial benefits. Today, I'll talk to you about financial protection. We allow go-getters to utilize their earnings to instantly click and save and get rewards. They can instantly get as low as 1 ringgit insurance plan to protect them wherever they are. And they get paid regularly. Instead of waiting at the end of the month, they get paid every 3 days, every 2 days. Two statistics in Malaysia. 2/3 of Malaysians don't have more than 50,000 in their EPF account at the age of 54, and 75% of Malaysians find it difficult to raise more than 1,000 for emergencies. Zamri here saves on GoGet for retirement, and Serena here saves for a rainy day. And through GoGet, we've seen that for go-getters who earn full-time, they're able to surpass these statistics and save more than 50K. And for emergencies, they can definitely save more than 1,000 within 2 to 5 months. We're already in talks with EPF to auto-default and opt-in go-getters to show how serious we are. And with the partnership with the announcement from the Penjana initiative from the country, the government is able to also co-fund some of the contributions. And this way, go-getters are able to also stay safe. Our solution is simple to use. There's no extra paperwork. It's automated. We make it fun. We also have no minimum requirement of savings amount, and it's inclusive. So that Zamri here now can get employed and be protected. We don't only stop at Zamris, we help retirees, women, and youth. And we've now been able to transform informal work where people can earn more than even 2x of the average Malaysian salary, and these go-getters have even established relationships with over 5,000 network connections for businesses that have favorited go-getters. Our aim is to impact the 350 million population in ASEAN workforce. And 75% of this is the low to middle skilled and informally employed with minimal protection. And there are 32 million SMEs in ASEAN. 99% of them are small to medium enterprises, and 50% say that people is one of their largest challenges. We partnered with a wide range of partners to take this to today's, and we hope to continue to partner with more to take us to our vision. My name is Francesca, and I'm the co-founder of GoGet. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Francesca, for the exciting presentation. And now, I would like to invite our panel of juries back on stage for the Q&A session. Again, the Q&A session will last for only 5 minutes, so please be on the lookout for the reminder messages from our organizers in the chat room as we approach the end of the 5 minutes. Jury members, you may now begin with your questions.
Hi, Francesca. Izam here.
Hi.
Hi. First of all, congratulations. I am very excited to see solutions like this that would be able to help sustain business sustainability of the SMEs, in particular the micro SMEs. And at the same time as well, you are managing the welfare and the social inclusivity of your go-getters. That's really interesting, and that's I think it's well needed in the current situation. Questions that I have for you is more on your business scalability. You've done really well in Malaysia, and how are you planning to go across ASEAN and hopefully getting global?
Great. So the expansion strategy to go across ASEAN is to first target the countries or the major urban areas that we feel actually need the solution the most. And when we've done our study, we really identified a few key locations in ASEAN where the labor market has a larger portion of the unprotected, and there's also a large portion of growing SMEs or even micro enterprises that need help. And we've identified them to be places such as Manila in Philippines, such as Thailand in Bangkok, such as also obviously in Indonesia. These are very large population in terms of impactability and also in terms of enterprises. In terms of our strategy to go there, we're looking at actually 2 prongs. The first is to find local local partners that actually know the local lay of the land, so that we can marry what we've learned in Malaysia to then also figure out how we can repurpose it for the local needs. What I mean by that is that, for example, in Malaysia, for example, the first area that really took off was dispatch. That was one of the main needs. However, in Manila, as we study more and more, there are areas where potentially the service-oriented jobs, such as the waiters, servers, will be more important for some of the F&B areas. So it's about identifying what kind of jobs would be more useful there. That's why local is important. Our second prong is then to use technology. A lot of our technology is highly scalable to be utilized in a different country. We literally manage all of what we do today with a team of 14 people in the office, and that includes our tech and business. That just really shows that we use a lot of technology in order to manage the scalability of actually our operations even today. So we onboard people, for example, fully digitally. We handle payments completely through integrations. We have obviously auto monitoring systems that we actually monitor in terms of behavior on the platform to then trigger certain reactions so that we can get the support in. So this is how we plan to make sure that when we go to overseas, we're also utilizing our existing infrastructure. And then on a business level, we do have partners here that have multiple operations overseas, and they're looking to, if we can strike the right partnerships, we can also instantly ramp up with the other partners that have operations in other cities.
Who are your competitors in the market, and how do you plan to overcome the competition?
Sure. So we break down competitors into a few segments. In terms of the job market competitors, the type of competitor that we have is like the job streets, the job listing portals, because we're competing with them for the people to come on GoGet and find part-time work. The difference between us and them is that we have built this solution to be highly customizable. As you can see, you can pick by different type of jobs, but moreover, it's very micro with GoGet. We actually allow you to take as low as even a 1-hour job or one task job. This is something that's not available in the other solutions. And we wrap this all up with the solution to say you are able to save, you get protected on demand, and you also can track your earnings live. And it's connected to your bank account so that we can actually pay your bank account. So it's a full solution for the supply side. Our other bucket for competition is the demand side. And we have them via service-specific competitors, such as if we're doing delivery services, we would have competitors purely on the delivery side. And other players such as pickers and packers in a warehouse or being a waiter in a restaurant, these currently do not have many live competitors on an on-demand workforce level. What people do today is they go onto a job street and they post for a 3-month waiter and waitress. So our biggest difference is we're an on-demand solution.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, the other question would be like, do you expect to get another finance round in the coming 24 months?
No, because we've actually recently just closed one round that we will soon announce. And before this round, we were financially profitable and operationally break even already, and we are today because we run a very lean team. Our history in financing has been, in 2014, we seeded the company as founders. We had initial seed funding by 500 startups, which is VC in America and the Malaysian fund here. And since then, we've heavily focused on cutting out costs and growing revenue.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much, Francesca. Unfortunately, we have run out of time for the Q&A session. Thank you very much for all the questions and the feedback provided by all the jury members. All right.
Thank you.
Jury members, you may now begin scoring Go-Get. As before, please drop a message in the chat room once you are done. Francesca, thank you very much for your time again.
Thank you.
Right, let's just give a moment for Mr. Abida and Vincent Ritaudin to complete the scoring for the previous company.
Sure.
All right, they have just confirmed that they have completed. Okay, all right. Next in line, we have Next Platform, which is represented by Stephen Lim, co-founder and CSO of the company. Founded in 2016, Next Platform is a data-driven company that provides sales automation solutions to help property developers increase sales conversion and experience. Stephen, over to you and good luck.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Stephen. I'm basically representing Next Platform for today's pitching sections. Okay, right. So the company has established 4 years back, and from 4 years ago until today's, basically what we are focusing is to drive customer data in our property developer client segments to basically help them to unify the entire customer data into one single platform itself. Currently, we have onboarded 52 clients and also managing 108 projects. And in total itself, we have automated 129,000 leads, for the past 4 years. So property developers have a few challenges that probably, not many people actually knows it, especially, people outside of B2B segments. So mainly they are encountering a high marketing cost, which they actually spend in the event, spend on the online or offline campaigns. So right now they are basically looking for a platform that could actually help them to unify all this digital channel into one single platform, so that they will be able to identify what exactly is the most efficient and also effective channel that the money actually spent on. Of course, not to mention a lot of decisions that they have actually made based on the data that they have is what they consider purchaser data, which is already a post or outdated data. So they need a platform to be able to make a more real-time kind of decisions, so that they can actually determine that how to bring up the sales, how they improve the sales, and also to basically enhance the entire sales conversions between the sales and marketing team as well as the agencies as well. So that's where that we actually come into the picture. So we have what we call a centralized customer experience management platform, CXM. So the platform basically helps them to connect all the digital channel that they have actually spent the money on, being a billboard, being a digital space like Google's, Twitter's, also social media space like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube as well. So we help them to integrate all these channels and to basically pull all the data into one single platform, and then depends on the rules and also the conditions of the data itself, then we help them to automate it to the salesperson or even like automate it to the sales agencies as well. So this is basically one of the platform that we actually enabled for them. And then from the platform itself, from all the data capture, they will be able to identify and so analyze the analysis of the data and also the insight of the customers as well, in order for them to basically come up with a better sales conversion strategy in this space. We help them to basically profile the 360 degree in terms of the customer. So the customer data that they have today no longer just the purchasers informations like contacts, details, phone number. In fact, we basically help them to integrate a lot more like, what are the channel that this customer has actually registered with, and what are the event that the customer has actually attended, how many times that you have actually interact with the customer, how many so-called like scoring point that you have actually rated for the customer itself, so that it can actually help you to do a proper retargeting campaign in the future as well. So we have a solution suite that basically covered from the pre-sales, during sales, and also post-sales in the property developer segment itself. So we help them to transform and also digitalize the entire sales and marketing processes all the way until the backend system. So in breakdown itself, we have two suites. One is lead automations. That's where that what we have actually mentioned. We help them to capture all the leads coming from all the channels and then automate it to the sales agent or salesperson in a real-time kind of manner. So they no longer need to like download it from the Excel and then have to manipulate it before they actually pass on to the users. Then we have another solution suite, which is helping to digitalize the entire sales experience that currently they have it in the property gallery and then push it to the salesperson. Right now, we are managing 108 successful projects, and then we have various of reputable clients within Malaysia itself. Right now, we are expanding it to Philippines and also Indonesia. So some of the awards that we have basically received from the market. Basically, our revenue model is based on annual subscription basis. Then we have a two-type license. One is actually standard license. We actually judge it by per project per year basis, and then we also have an enterprise license that giving out unlimited users. So our market size is basically 240 millions that we identified within Malaysia itself, and then of course we also have a property agencies segment that we will be looking at in our next upcoming solutions model. Right, we have completed the phase 1, which is what we actually covered the B2B segment, and then for our upcoming 3 years plan, we are basically expanding out to more on the customer segment, which is a B2B marketplace segment, as well as the community segments as well.
All right, apologies, Stephen. Unfortunately, our 5 minutes timing is up already. Thank you very much for the exciting presentation.
Yep.
And now I would like to invite our panel of juries back on stage once again for the Q&A session.
Okay, let me start. Who are your competitors, and how do you plan to overcome the competition?
We actually have local competitors, people like IFCA, what we mentioned. They have these solutions called like P365. So how do we actually like come into this space? Because we have started 4 years back. We are basically have the first mover advantage for us to capture the market. So I would say is that in terms of like competition itself, our solution is much more stable. And then once we actually get into the core process of the property developer, it's very difficult for them to actually like move up from there. So basically, this is part of our advantage in the competitions itself.
Thank you, Stephen. We have a question from Inchet Ritaudin. Do you have any plan to extend your CRM solution to other sectors?
Yes, we do have a plan. I would say that 80% of our focus right now is coming from property industry. lately we do actually expanding to automotive industries as well. Currently, we are speaking to one of the automotive industry player in Indonesia as well. So that will actually bring us into the first implementations into automotive industry.
Okay.
Hi, Hamza here. I want to understand because do you have any payment, given the COVID situation, do you have any payment issues with your customers at the moment?
Yeah, that's very good question. In fact, our business actually went up 2x during this COVID-19 period of time. We basically help property developer to enable what we call online deposit and also online booking channels that allows them without asking the customer to come into a sales gallery and to basically doing all this like credit card payment and all this stuff. So that's basically the two solutions that we have on board with our property developer clients itself. Before MCO, they are very reluctant that online payment, online deposits to them is like property developer. They always think about like having personal touch kind of like experience, but thanks to this pandemic, so-called the change of like the entire new norm itself, right now we basically enabled property purchasers to place a booking over the internet.
Okay.
Hi, Stephen. I'm looking at the number of hit counts that you have. You have about 20 packs right now, 20 hit counts?
In terms of like head count as an internal people, yeah. So basically, the head count that we have right now is actually 13 people, 13, inclusive of technical and also the founders team.
Help me to understand, because I do see that you have a list of reputable clients and expanding into new verticals as well. How do we go about in the future, especially in expanding your business into new verticals?
Understand.
What are your plans in terms of your resources expansion?
Yep, understand. So this is a frequent questions that posted by one of our investors as well. So basically, for the upcoming new industry plans itself, right, we are going to set up our new sales team as well, because internally we strongly believe that with the current teams that we have, we cannot cope with the new industry focus. So that's also explained that why for the past 4 years, a lot of like customer actually come to us and says that, hey, can we tweak our solutions into their industry as well? So basically, that's basically the barrier that we have to come across. So internally, we have actually planned out to build a sales team that will be managing a different cross industry. And we are not going like a so-called like various type of industry right now. So the next industry that we are focusing is just mainly focusing on automotive. We want to get niche and also get ourselves deeper into all this industry before we move on to the next industry.
Okay.
Right, we have 1 minute left, perhaps for one last question.
Maybe how do you are managing your accounts now in terms of spending, and are you facing difficulties to raise financial resources?
Thanks for having that question. We just closed our financial years yesterday. So basically, for the FYE 2020, we basically break even. We have actually achieved of a 200% growth from our previous financials itself. We basically practicing a lean start manuals, so we don't usually like raise to spend. So all this while, we have only like raised one time on the seed funding. The rest of the capital and also the expenses that managing is actually from the so-called revenue generated from our clients itself. So this is basically our current financial situations.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Jury members, you may now begin scoring next platform. As before, please drop a message in the chat room once you are done. Stephen, thank you very much again for your time. All right, welcome back. For the fourth company today, we have Jom Parking, which is represented by Muhammad Nazir Habizar, founder and CEO of the company. Founded in 2017, Jom Parking is an end-to-end digital parking solutions provider that aims to change the parking landscape by leveraging on the latest technology available in the industry. Encik Nazir, over to you and good luck.
The solution provider. The problem faced with the consumer today is inconvenient for them to make parking payment because of the machines breakdown or not easy to get a coupon. And also with the exposed with the tropical environment, normally hot and also rainy, and also fragmented of payment method. And also problem with the councils of having high capex to maintain the machines localization because of the machines broke down, and also inefficiency of doing the enforcement because of lack of operation data. And for the building management, they have a problem with the high capex and opex to maintain the machines, and also dealing with the legacy system, and also with the minimal user insights. Therefore, we come up with the end-to-end digital parking solutions, ranging from Jom Parking is a consumer application for consumer to make parking payment streets and off streets. Jom Force is an enforcement system for the enforcer to do enforcement, and also Jom Valet and Jom Agent, which is a digital valet and agent system. And also we have Jom Data, whereby we consolidate all the data into one single platform that we'll be doing the AI and also big data for the analytics, and also Jom Command for the command center. The market size for the parking in the source of Asia is more than 23 billion US dollar per annum, which is Malaysia contributes about 3.8 billion US dollar per annum. The business model is very simple. There is no development fee, there's no upfront fee. We just take certain percentage from the parking transaction. And later stage, we also going into location-based advertisement and also data-driven operations. Within 3 years' time, we expanded from Malaysia into Saudi and Sri Lanka with more than 400,000 registered users and managing more than 200 parking bays within 3 countries. We also received several accelerator programs awards and also other awards in Malaysia. So our vision is to cover the whole nation within 2 years' time by collaborating with local councils and parking operator. Not only that, we also would like to expand our services within Southeast Asia, starting from Thailand and Indonesia within 12 months, and Bangladesh, Myanmar, Vietnam, Brunei, and Philippines within 36 months durations. Our team consists of 25 team members. I'm leading the company as CEO and founder, having more than 20 years ICT experience. And also Awis is the CTO, having more than 5 years experience in mobile application development. Faris as the CEO operations, having more than 20 years experience in operation, and also Shami as the product guy that having more than 5 years experience. So with this dynamic team, we are able to achieve our targets to modernize the parking system, not only Malaysia, but also Southeast Asia. Ladies and gentlemen, Jom Parking is a digital end-to-end parking solution provider. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Encik Nazir, for the presentation. I would now like to invite our panel of juries back on stage once again for the Q&A session.
Thank you very much. If time, did you get investors? Who is investing in your business?
Okay, yes, we received investment way back in 2018 from local investors in Malaysia for the pre-A series.
Do you have competitors?
Of course, we do have competitors in Malaysia, ranging from the other parking solution provider and also e-wallet provider. We can see actually our immediate competitor is e-wallet providers, but the difference is that e-wallet providers only handling the payment methods, but for us, we are dealing the back end system, the core engine of the parking system, whereby at the end of the day, we can collaborate with this e-wallets provider to provide multiple payment methods for the consumer to make parking payment.
But you work with e-wallet providers as well, right?
Yes, correct. At the moment, we work with closely with the e-wallets providers such as Boost, Grab, Touch and Go, and others.
Thank you.
Yeah, one question.
Mohammed.
Sorry.
Sorry, we have a question from Inche Ritaudi.
Yeah.
What is your success rate in lobbying the local authorities?
Okay, so the success rate actually is very low at the very beginning because of this is a local product. For us to convince to the local councils, takes some time. But after a while, more and more local councils like to have the solution because it's already proven to reduce their collection, the operation cost, and increase the collection by at least by 35%. So therefore, more and more local councils would like to have these solutions. In fact, today we just launched one of the councils in Kelantan, Masjid Tanah Merah in Kelantan.
Thank you very much. Professor Emily?
Yeah, thank you so much. Mohammed, the breakdown of the amount request of 1 million, the use of the funds, are going to be invested and allocated in do you have that breakdown, that information by any chance?
Of course. For the fund allocation, what we plan to do actually 35% we're going to allocate for the marketing and advertising promotions, and 25% for the product enhancement and also UI/UX enhancement, and 30% for the capex, machine and devices, and also 10% for the regional Southeast Asia expansion, and another 10% for the strategic and connection partnership allocations.
Okay, thank you so much.
Since we have another question, you are planning to scale your solution in other markets other than the regional markets?
Yes, we are planning to expand our services. So first thing first, we're targeting for Southeast Asia. How we do this actually by collaborating with the local partners in that particular countries. For example, we're collaborating with Tenaga Kapal in Sri Lanka, whereby we collaborate with them because of they know better about their political influence in their respective country. So what we plan to do, or we are doing right now, actually we're providing the total solution for them to run the business of there in Sri Lanka. So the same things we are doing also for other countries. So we just replicate the same model. By having this, actually, we can replicate or expand the services with a minimal cost because we don't need to replicate the whole team members into their respective countries.
We have a question from Inche Ritaudi. There are other brick and mortar players in the market like Metro. How do you plan to beat them?
Okay, this is good questions. So what we plan to do, actually, we are not going to beat them, but we collaborate with them. So as a platform provider, because we are not a parking operator, we're just platform provider. So we work closely with the parking operators. So one of the parking operators is actually Metro. So we also work with other parking operators, be it street parking and also off-street parking. So by having this, actually, the local councils and parking operator can minimize the cost by having these high-tech solutions, and they can increase their collections and also efficiency.
Now, say quick questions actually.
Right.
What's your big dream exit strategy?
Of course, it's only two exit strategy, either being for IPO and also being acquired. So we're looking for both options open. So we're looking for between 3 to 5 years to achieve this target, either being for IPO and also being acquired.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for your questions and the answers from Encik Nazir.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Jury members, you may now begin scoring through parking. As before, please drop a message in the chat room once you are done. Thank you very much. Encik Nazir, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
And let's just give a moment for Raja Hamza to complete scoring the previous company. All right, thank you, Hamza. Okay, up next, we have HomeCrowd, which is represented by Dave Chiu, founder and CEO of the company. Founded in 2019, HomeCrowd is an impact enterprise that helps underserved millennials by using a data-driven credit scoring system that grants them access to a peer-to-peer lending platform for mortgage and consumer loans. Dave, over to you and good luck.
Okay. Actually, we founded the company 3 years ago. So what inspired me to start HomeCrowd is sharing the same problem with many millennials today, where many can't own a decent home, and of course there's also a home ownership problem in Malaysia as well. Many millennials complain that they have additional income, especially from the gig economy, which are not recognized by the traditional banking. And at the same time, we have a huge unsold houses in Malaysia as well. Since 2017, about 60% of Malaysia home buyers will decline access to the mortgage financing by the traditional banking. And the millennial size, of course, will be the growing population in Malaysia and Southeast Asia as well. We believe that preserving millennials today shall not be declining access to mortgage financing due to the yesterday's speculation. So let me show you how it works. Okay, let's say a home buyer named is Roslan. He come onto our HomeCrowd platform and he apply for a mortgage. He key in his personal and financial information, employment history, and property info that he wants to buy. Our platform first validates Malaysia ID and analyze his third-party credit bureau report. Second, we analyze his monthly finances, both full-time employment and additional income from other sources. Third, we analyze his monthly bill payment history. Finally, our credit risk officer determined Rosan's HomeCrowd credit score. Once approved, we list his loan on our platform, where lender can choose to invest. HomeCrowd lender receives a fixed and a safe return that is secure over Rosan property held by a trustee company. And our company takes a small cut of the interest between the borrower and the lender. Investors don't just get a return, they also get update from Rosan through the HomeCrowd community and feel good knowing they make a difference in Rosan's life. Okay, sorry. The additional data that we will look into is the alternative data coming from the monthly bills and also the social media platform. For example, we also check whether they have a linking account and also the connection of the linking account to determine the employability in the future if they lose their job or they want to upgrade to a career progression. We have partnered with Experian to actually support our eKYC and credit score infrastructure. Our biggest challenge of our innovation was the regulation, where we spent more than 1 year getting the clearance with both Bank Negara and KPKT, the Housing Ministry. And at the same time, we built a good relationship with them as well. So we have launched our MVP and attract a good amount of users, and many are keen to get a loan and invest in the loan as well. We have obtained the in-principle approval from the KPKT, and we are the first company in Malaysia to receive a special license to offer this solution. So this makes our company highly defensible. So next, after secure the license, we will launch our beta. And of course, the next, we are also looking into a Sharia compliance loans, which are one of Malaysia strength to transform Malaysia as an Islamic fintech hub as well. Our loans will be backed by the institutional company other than the retailers as well, and we are currently in talk with a couple of institutional companies. So last year we won we were winner of the Malaysia Prop Tech in conjunction with the Malaysia Tech Week. So we have secured a partnership with the Sunrise. Secondly, we're also in talk with the housing agency. Once we activate the license, they are keen to join us where they give us access to more than 50,000 home buyer. And we also engaged with Gama's National Mortgage Corporation of Malaysia to actually come in to join as our institutional lender. So we are currently raising $1 million and will give us access to help facilitate more than 50 mortgages. So this is our amazing founding.
Right, Dave.
Yeah, I'm the Big Four Chair.
Dave, thank you very much for your presentation.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, quickly run through. Right.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Unfortunately, the 5 minutes allocation is up, so it is time for us to re-invite our panel of juries by consultation once again for the Q&A session. Thank you very much. Perhaps for the first question, we have a question from Incher Ritaudi. What is in it for the investor, and what is your revenue model?
So for the investor, they invest a small amount. They will get a fraction of the property charge. So on monthly basis, the borrower will pay the installment. The monthly interest income for the investor. So we pay out the interest income on quarterly basis. So we take a small cut of 0.5% in between for the loan amount.
What is your strategy for managing the risk of defaulting or non-payment or?
Of course, the first priority we target first home buyer. First home buyer, and also for them looking at less than 500,000 and get houses which is considered an affordable house, which are currently underserved as opposed to a high-end condo which are currently oversupplied. So that give us a safeguard on that, and also secondly, the property which charge is quarterized. And on top of that, we will look into a more additional data rather than the traditional data that we have access from Australian.
This is the assessment, the credit assessment. But if there is a default in payment, how you recover your losses?
Okay, so yeah, our default management is not significantly different from the traditional banking. So we still follow the 3 months NPL. Of course, the first month we will do a second month we will follow up with them more aggressively. And of course, 3 months once we trigger the NPL, we start with the legal action, and if the legal action there's no recovery, then we will initiate a foreclosure procedure to auction off the property. And of course, the proceeds of the property will be refunded back to the investors.
Okay. How scalable is the business in other emerging markets?
How scalable? Yeah, actually, essentially, in Southeast Asia is still emerging. What we are referring to a couple of fintech unicorn in the US, and also in European countries as well, like UK. So for us, we have an indirect competitor that the company called DH Prop, where they launched Fund My Home. So their product essentially is a 5 years rent to own scheme that they have to migrate to a mortgage loan. So it's not the loan per se. And since actually we noticed since last of October they were quiet in that business. So probably I'm not sure what's happening in the business anymore.
Okay, thank you.
There's an additional question.
Well, what is the size of your customers now? How many customers you have?
Yeah, because of the barrier of our business is the licensing. The more paid up capital as required. to actually get a license, only we can launch our live. But I mean, in terms of our credit modeling and platform, we are ready to launch once it's secured. So right now we are just collecting an early user or called beta user.
Right, we have 1 minute left, so let's take the one last question from Encik Ritaudi. What's your value-added services? Your model is similar to P2P financing. You may need to get clearance from the Securities Commission.
Okay, so there's another point that we cover. Many of the borrowers or home applicants got rejected by the banking, but they don't know why they got rejected. So of course, for us, our added value service will provide a financial advisory using technology to help understand why they got rejected, and also the recommendation for them to improve their credit score so that they'll be eligible for the home loan in future. Because the key service is the ongoing engagement, despite that they are not qualified yet. And in terms of the P2P financing from Securities Commission, currently the regulatory framework is only for business and SME loan. So before we approach bank and KPKT, we actually presented to the Securities Commission. They already confirmed that our solution that is not under their purview.
Right. Thank you very much, Dave. Our 5 minutes allocation for the Q&A session is up. Thank you very much for all the questions from the jury members.
Okay.
Jury members, you may now begin scoring home crowd. As before, please drop a message in the chat room once you are done. Dave, thank you so much once again for your time. All right. Up next, we have My Cash Money, which is represented by Mahdi Hassan, founder and group CEO of the company. Founded in 2015, My Cash Money is a fintech startup that works as a link between unbanked migrants and their home country by facilitating and addressing communication, trust, and payment problems. Mahdi, over to you and all the best.
Sorry, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, okay. Hi, good afternoon. My name is Mehdi. I'm the founder of My Cash Money. So there is 200 million migrant workers in the global market. In 2019 itself, they actually sent $715 billion to their home. And the good thing is 66% of these migrant workers, they use non-bank financial channels to send money. And 90% of them have access to internet. And these monies, majority of them goes to the South and Southeast Asian countries like Bangladesh, India, Vietnam, Philippines, Cambodia, Myanmar, and these countries. So what we wanted to do actually, we wanted to provide a very simple app that we actually call as a super app for the migrant worker that is actually tailored with the financial solution that a migrant worker needs, and it is available in their mother language. So, and in our app, actually, we have 3 verticals of the services. We have instant remittances, transport and ticketing, airtime, and data. So we started our business in Malaysia, but we got a remittance license. In Malaysia, we don't have remittance license yet. We work with another remittance company as a partner, but we recently got a remittance license in Australia and Singapore. And we do now, this month, actually in June, we did more than 100,000 transactions, and our monthly GMV now increased to $4 million US. For every transaction we do in our platform, we charge a small fee to our customer, but still it is cheaper, way cheaper than other banks and financial institutions. So this is our growth. During this pandemic, we are actually growing very well as well. And you see that with this year, our expected revenue growth is $40 million US. And our transaction growth also is almost 1.4 million. So if you can see that from April, May, June, these 3 months, actually our revenue, both for remittance and other services, actually increased 30 to 40% on an average. So this is a map of our migrant customers in Malaysia and Singapore. You can see that we have customers in all over the country, especially the larger cities and even the kampung, and also even the palm oil plantations where the migrant workers are working. In Malaysia, currently, most of our customers are using top-up and other services as well, and we are currently talking with BNM to get our own license, and we'll bring more services, including a prepaid card very soon. So the competition, we have fair competition in the market, but we believe that we are a special kind because the segment we are working, they are actually unbanked, so they cannot use the services like TransferWise or InstaRem. They even cannot go to the banks because they don't have a bank account. So they go to the Western Union, RIA, this type of over-the-counter traditional shops. But we are actually telling them that we can now no need to go to these shops. Instead of that, you can use your app. And recently, even yesterday night, actually, Bank Negara Malaysia, they allowed the guideline for eKYC. So I think that will be a boost for our technology that we actually now operating in Singapore, that a user can download their app and do eKYC and do the remittance all from their homes. During this pandemic, we worked with Singapore government to provide remittance services to the migrant workers, and we did very successfully. In first month of our allowance, we did $1.5 million US worth of transaction in Singapore itself. So this is the team. We have a very multi-dimensional, diverse team from different country background and religion. And 40% of our teams are female, and we are committed to increase that way. And these are our target. We are now currently operating in 3 countries, and soon we are planning to go to the Middle East, maybe either Saudi or any other countries. So why invest us? Actually, we are one of the very large, very fast growing country. We have 25 employees now and 90,000 plus active users, and we can send money to 55 over countries. We are connected with banks, financial institute, insurance company, and so on. These are some of the recognition we got, including the FinTech Award, Jumpster, and few more. I think, and also some media coverage we got. Yeah, that's all. Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Mahedi, for the exciting presentation. I would now like to re-invite our panel of juries back on stage once again for the Q&A session. For our first question from Inchi Ritaudin, how do you manage the risk of foreign currency settlement exposure?
Actually, most of our transactions are very small size transactions because our customers are quite poor actually. So we do our transactions we do high frequency transactions and small transactions. So the small ticket size, so that our risk exposures are a little bit smaller. And secondly, what we do pre-funding. So when I send funding to my banking partner, in, like for example, Bank BRI in Indonesia, I exactly know that what is my buying price, so I can actually adjust my selling price accordingly to that, so that there is not much risk on that, because unless they drastically the rate actually drop, there is very less risk on this actually, because we already know our selling price.
A related question: how do you manage the risk of money laundering, compliance, etc. in transfer?
Yeah, because first thing you need to understand, the transaction size is very small. We only allow people to do 3,000 ringgit of transaction a month. So if you want to like send $1 billion to Al Qaeda or something, it's not the right place, because you need to do many millions of transactions, small transactions, and you'll get caught by them. And secondly, we use for like eKYC, we're using Onfindo. They are one of the world-class technology the larger companies are using. Then secondly, we have in-house compliance team in Malaysia. Also, we have a team in Singapore. We follow all the regulation by BNM and MAS. So actually, we although we serve the migrant workers by a low-income group, but our technology that we use is high quality, and also is a lot of the even banks are using. So we use bank level security and bank level software for that.
Hi, Mehdi. Isam here.
Yeah.
I'm always very excited to see initiatives like this that are
Sure.
driving social inclusion.
Yeah.
You mentioned in your competitors chart just now that indirectly you're competing with the likes of TransferWise.
Yeah.
You have a very unique market segmentation right now. Although that I feel it may not be fully tapped as yet, there's still huge opportunities in this migrant workers segmentation. But what's your future aspirations? Eventually you're going to be covering up the whole entire migrant workers market segmentation. So do you aspire to be somebody as big as TransferWise and getting into different sets of market segmentation?
Obviously, we aspire to do that. We are currently partnering with some of the large company. Like I cannot say the name now. But we are partnering with one of the largest remittance company in the world currently. Their logo is in my slide. So I'm partnering with them. So and once I have the partnership with them, I can send money all over the world, any country you name it, we can send. So that is actually will give a boost for our partnership and technology. So when we have the technology, we have the apps, we have all the equipments like we're using, and then we have the partnership network that you can send money. So all now I need to actually go to a new market, get new customer. So that we are actually doing. So one of the targets now, one of the reason of this speech also, we are very interested about the Middle East actually, because there's a lot of migrant workers there, and they send money to the Philippines, Indonesia, Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, these countries, and I have a very strong presence there actually. Even like for example, I can send money to India, Bangladesh, Pakistan within a minute, 24/7. That TransferWise cannot do. They take 2 to 3 working days. So that is actually my plus point, that actually over the times we will gain the market. That the same thing we did in Singapore. Actually, in first month I did $1.5 million worth of transactions in this last month June actually. When people are inside the dormitories isolated, we bring the services to them with the partnership with the Ministry of Manpower. So I think there is certificates. And what is the plan? My plan is we want to go to Middle East actually, because we believe that Middle East, the locals are very, very rich, but the migrant workers are poor. They need service that the local banks are not doing. Even local startups are not doing. So they need somebody like us to help them to send money cheaper, quickly, and faster.
What is the unit economics of each transfer?
Well, the ticket size, we have 2 types of transaction, remittance and also the top-ups. For top-ups, our average ticket size is $5 and remittance is $200. And from every transactions, we earn around 1 to 5%. For remittance, around 1%, and top-up, at least 5% we earn as a revenue.
All right. Unfortunately, we have reached the end of our 5 minutes allocation for the Q&A session. Thank you very much for all the questions. All right.
Yeah, thanks a lot. If you need anything, you can just email me. I'll happy to reply. And yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Jury members, you may now begin scoring My Cash Money. As before, please let's just give a moment for Encik Nurhizam to complete scoring of the previous company. Thank you, Encik Nurhizam. All right. Up next, for the seventh company today, we have MyFinB, which is represented by Muhammad Nazri, founder and president of the company. Founded in 2016, MyFinB is a risk analytics platform that uses artificial intelligence to conduct financial assessments and recommendations for enterprises and consumers on a web-to-mobile platform. Encik Nazri, over to you and all the best.
Hello, good afternoon, distinguished jury. Can you hear me before I begin?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Okay, good. In the current COVID environment, there are so many uncertainties facing organizations on how they operate short, medium to long term. Here at MyFinB, we believe in using AI as a means, as a pivot to help organizations find new ways of dealing with their data and make better decisions using AI by answering the following questions. Number one, what is the trend? Number two, what causes it to occur? Number three, what scenarios can happen in the future? Number four, what needs to be done? And fifth, what needs to be monitored going forward? An SME agency, for example, can use AI to help 150,000 SMEs in Malaysia undertake personalized financial health check and come out with the customized roadmap to help them go through the challenges of post-COVID. A large FMCG group can use AI to determine what products to sell, what price, which location, which distributors, and carry out the type of promotional activities at a certain period of time using 200 million data points. A large PE firm can use AI to do preliminary screening of deals, evaluate the valuation with comparables, identify risks and opportunities objectively, and looking at the projected numbers and compare it against similar setups quickly, just to name a few. AI as a service is a growing trend led by Microsoft and Google, where they democratize AI and allow everyone to use it without having to learn how to code. But what really inspired us to come out and implement the caption, how now everybody can own AI? What does it entail? So about 2 years ago, I sent two of my daughters, 10 years and 8 years old, to attend a program by MIT called Scratch. So this is where kids under the age of 12 mainly are able to create their own programs, stories, simulations, interconnect variables and scoring without using programming, without using hardcore programming. And I figured that was a mind-blowing activity. I sat them down and asked me, show me step by step, how did you actually come up with such an apps that is so interesting, attractive, and basically customized. And then we came out with the concept for Scratch for adults, in the sense that professionals and practitioners can develop their own AI, okay, without having to learn programming, without having to incur capital expenditure, and without having to depend on data scientists. So introducing DAL platform, where every organization can create their own robo systems across any industries or sectors. Using a proprietary AI and natural language generation engine, you can write stories from data to drive understanding and results automatically by turning data into easy to understand reports, transform statistics to stories, and convert numbers into knowledge. The business model is very simple. We get appointed as a party to build a prototype. We fund the full development of the actual system, and we recover through the use of transaction as a service, and we co-own the IP. So in this way, every organization can set up their own AI lab in-house under 8 man-weeks, precluded by a prototype under 5 days. From there on, we charge fee-based to transaction-based coming from clientele the next 5 years. Okay, and this is our portfolio. Through the AI as a service model, we have completed projects with partners such as the second largest bank in the world and one of the largest hedge fund in the world, worked with several big four on several advisory initiatives, work with various government agencies and think tank groups, as well as 130-year-old public listed companies, just to name a few. And this is an example of how we built from prototype to launch to commercialization, launch to 40,000 retail investors in Malaysia as one of the projects. One of the big four firms evaluated us to have a very, very strong value proposition in terms of quality of technology, disruption potential, attractiveness of monetization, size of market share, and based on our revenue growth. And this is the market size estimated by McKinsey and PwC, as well as the value impact and the positioning of our type of AI technology in the next 5 years. At the broader level, we also successfully franchised a low-cost AI platform model such as this to 28 countries to date, that includes several African nations such as UK, Asia Pac, India, New Zealand, Indonesia, Singapore, Uzbek, Georgia, and more. Since inception, we have raised more than 2 million ringgit at seed stage and have grown 13 times for sales and 9 times for profits over the past 36 months till end 2019. We intend to raise 16 million ringgit in the next 2 months. We'll be using the funds to grow at least 2 times in the next 1 year or so. With that, thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Encik Nazri, for the presentation. I would now like to invite our panel of juries back on stage once again for the Q&A session. All right, jury members, you may now begin with your questions.
Let me start. What is your prospects in accessing other markets other than Malaysia, and how do you are planning to do that?
Yeah, as mentioned earlier, we basically already have written commitment and commercial arrangement with 28 countries dispersed over at the slide mentioned in front here. So even though different countries are at different stage of development, we ensure we collect the franchise fees first as low-cost franchising fee, usually structured over 5 + 5 years. In Malaysia, for example, we have Datuk Dr. Muhammad Daud Bakar, who's basically our country partner for Malaysia. But the unique thing about this entity is that Malaysia becomes a HQ for the rest of the world and is being positioned for IPO and M&A listing, IPO listing and M&A activities. So with the establishment of these channels, we then penetrate through the network to get access of clientele. We drive our business through channel partners. So like to get access to George Soros, to get access to a bank, right? To get access to a political figure is always done through channels who will then engage us to carry out the execution. Thank you.
We have a question from Encik Ritauddin. He mentioned, I remembered supporting you at your early stage. What's stopping you to reach out to other markets without further investment?
Thank you, Encik Ritauddin. Basically, the funds are needed to pursue what you call M&A activities. 50% of the funds is to be used for M&A or acquisition. Acquiring who? Acquiring data-rich organizations that are, quote unquote, do not have the right valuation, such as accounting firms, consulting, and basically bookkeeping and corporate secretarial practice. So each organization, each firm like that has about 300 to 500 over clients downstream. So we need the funds to basically grow, acquire, and basically scale to overseas market. Right now, can you imagine since 2016 and 17, we have not basically raised any additional funds. Since the seed days, right? So we have been growing organically. Now is the time for us to grow non-organically to secure a 10x growth in the next 3 to 5 years.
Who are your competitors in the market, and how do you overcome this competition?
Yeah, as it stands, there are a lot of comparables for purpose of valuation. So one of the big 4 firms that we've engaged basically evaluated us on these 4 dimensions against close to 10 companies or so. But closer to what we do, I would tend to look at Palantir, and I will look at Narrative Science. Both are based in US as a model that we follow closely, and the valuation that they themselves are unicorns. So we follow them very, very closely because they are non-listed companies, and put in Tableau as a third comparison. You combine that together, and this is what my FIMBI is all about. Thank you.
We have 2 minutes left, perhaps one last question.
If no question, yeah, please.
Yeah. Do you have the allocation of the funds? Because I think for me it's quite difficult to find in the presentation. You know, the breakdown of it.
Sorry, is that a question to me?
Yeah,
breakdown
the question is, do you have the breakdown of the funds that you are requesting? Because it's hardly to me to find that information in the presentation.
Yeah, because of the time constraint and the limited slides, I will send you the slides over, but basically think of it as 50, 25, 25. Out of the 16 million ringgit that we intend to raise, 50% is to, we've already identified 3 companies who have agreed in principle to be acquired. So that forms 50% of it, amongst others. 25% is for R&D. R&D means you look into the new developments, new technology that is ready for market to accept. And then 25% is working capital to deploy people that can go through 3 shifts, because we are operating on international time zone. So 50, 25, 25 forms the basis of our, fund requirement.
Thank you.
what is your composition of your employees, the skill mix, I mean?
Yeah, as of 2019, we have about 11 full-time staff, and 3 times of it are contract. As of 2020 first half, we have about 19 core team, of which about 50 plus are our contract team with JVs from regional countries. So out of this, about 20 plus are very focusing on hardcore data science, data analytics, with a couple of PhD who are on board from various universities, with support from MDEC, amongst others, as part of their PDTI schemes and all that. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Encik Nazri. Unfortunately, we have come to the end of the 5 minutes allocated. Thank you very much once again for all the questions. Jury members, you may now begin scoring my feedback. As before, please drop a message in the chat room once you're done. Encik Nazri, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Hello?
Hi, Maha. Let's just give the jury members a couple of minutes to complete their scoring for the previous.
Sure, no worries. I'm hearing a bit of echo though.
Can you hear me now? I can hear you very clearly.
All right, sure, great.
All right, thank you very much, jury members. Up next, we have Hello Gold, represented by Maha Jeffrey, Community Manager of the company. Founded in 2015, Hello Gold is the world's first Sharia-compliant mobile application that changes the way users buy, save, sell, and redeem in physical gold, and has since garnered over 200,000 users. Maha, over to you, and all the best.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Maha Jeffrey, and I'm here representing Hello Gold, Malaysia's first Sharia-compliant gold savings app. I'll be touching a bit on Hello Gold, but I'll mostly be talking on our long-term umbrella plan, which is Hello Finance. Now, from this slide, you can see there's an evident market gap that we are attempting to fill, where billions of people do not have access to other forms of savings besides cash-based savings. We believe that cash is not the best instrument to hold your savings, as the interest does not increase proportionally with inflation. However, gold tends to appreciate during volatile times, such as during a worldwide pandemic, and offers better protection to your savings when you require it the most. Now, as a digital bank, we'd like to package this experience for the underserved and underbanked markets and provide a luxury of choice that was not readily available or accessible to them before. And we're going at this with 3 different angles, which are the 3 most popular financial products bought by investors, which is a savings account, insurance, as well as gold. Now, you might ask yourself, why Hello Finance? Now, there are several reasons why, but the biggest one we believe is that our current B2B2C partnership model has established a profitability in terms of customer acquisition costs for both our organic and partner customer costs. We're also excited to show you what's going to be happening in our pipeline. We have Hello Ringgit, Hello Credit, and something that I'm personally very excited about, being a Malay Muslim, is Hello Life, where we will be offering from 2 ringgit a month protection up to 10,000 ringgit. This is actually based on a Malay Muslim cultural concept where the dead have to be buried as soon as possible. So we want to enable this accessibility for those who can afford a low amount as anyone can be offered protection from that amount, as well as the flexibility for them to acquire their money as soon as requested. So why do we launch with Hello Gold first? We felt that it was the easiest and fastest way to get out to the market due to their having to have little to no regulation, as well as the fact that the app is Sharia compliant, which helps us a lot in gaining the trust in the target market, which is predominantly Muslim. And it also provided us a foundation to continuously improve accessibility for our users, which is a big key for us. Where, for example, currently we are developing a web app where users will provide more accessibility, where they won't even need to download the app to be able to access their savings. I feel now is the more exciting part of the presentation, which is the numbers. So in the past 5 quarters, we've more than doubled our customer base from 120,000 at the start of 2019 to over 200,000 currently. And at the current trajectory, we can definitely expect to have 1 million users in our user base by the end of 2021. And we've also recently launched in Thailand a few years ago. So we duplicated the model with much more promising results, as we've already gone through the pitfalls which were easily avoided a second time around. We fine-tuned the model to establish more efficiency in terms of communicating with customers, and we feel that's one reason why we were able to gain much more traction in Thailand in the first 9 months. Also, due to our partnership strategy that we've established, we've also managed to significantly bring down our customer acquisition costs with every quarter. So with the partnership acquisition costs dropping from $6 to 39 cents per customer, and organic costs from $60 per customer to just $2.74. And we believe that we can maintain it at this price, which would put us on a clear path to profitability. And other than that, our strategy has also given us great success in terms of growth, as we have tripled our AUM, as well as acquired a total gross transactional value of 10.7 million over the last 4 quarters. And now we're also really excited to announce the pipeline for our partners for this year. Now, as you can see from this slide, the ones that we are partnering up with are pretty much brands that will offer more value to our customers in terms of accessibility, in terms of how easy it is to enable them to save, such as payment gateways to provide more options for them, and also the ability to immediately start saving without having to get off a partner's app. So after launching in Thailand, we've also decided to branch out into the Middle East. And with the engine that we have established with Hello Gold as a product offering, that's why we are going into white labeling as a service, so that customers would not have to get off a partner's app, making it a lot easier for them. Anyways, that's been my presentation. Thank you for taking time to listen. We hope you will join us in our mission to make financial services affordable, accessible, and secure for everyone and anyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maha, for your presentation.
You're welcome.
Right. I would now like to invite our panel juries back on stage once again for the Q&A session.
Thank you so much. One of the questions here I also asked is, sorry, do you have a detailed breakdown of your full amount requested?
Currently, for our next request, we're actually aiming for 2 million. Unfortunately, I can't provide you a specific breakdown at the moment. However, I can connect you with our founders and CEOs to provide you a much more detailed breakdown on how it is.
Help us to understand your outreach programs as you get into the tier 3, tier 4 markets, getting financial services and having people to save in a most affordable, secure, and accessible way, as what you said earlier. Tell us a bit more about your outreach initiatives and how do you, what's your go-to-market strategy?
Sure. Now, we realized when I first started here, there was a big, the sentiment was very negative from the market, in the sense that people were calling us a scam because they were not, used to such a platform. But I can honestly say that we've completely turned around that sentiment, especially from the Malay market, from due to several initiatives. First was direct marketing, where we for example, we have recently launched an ambassador program where we reward our most loyal users and make them into our ambassadors. At that point, they also market it to new users and help explain and resolve any issues that they may have. So basically, they act as mini customer service for us. And also, touching on customer service, we also feel that what's very important, especially with a business like this, is to have an on-point customer service where a customer can expect your time of the day at any time of the day, and they can have their issues resolved almost immediately.
How do you manage the competition with banks, for example, who have the trust of the customers?
Okay, so we do have competition in the market, such as the banks, such as Public Gold as well. However, little to none of them have a fully functional and accessible app for users to go into, and as well, many of them do not have offer. What we have is our Smart Saver plan, which pretty much enables anyone to save. It's direct debit. So you just input the amount that you want per month and it automatically deducts from your bank account. So it's kind of like a set and forget feature.
Yeah, but the app, I mean, the trust, how you get the trust of your customers compared to banks, for example.
Yes. With that, I would like to go back to how we've been marketing, which is purely grassroots and going to the heart of it, and using our loyal customers to branch out that loyalty to others. So it's a very down-to-earth tactic that we're using currently.
All right, question from Inchi Ritaudin. Have you received the necessary clearance from authorities like Bank Negara Malaysia?
Currently, for gold, is not regulated by any certain body. However, we do follow strictly BNM guidelines. So, in the event that regulation does come up, we are very prepared in that event.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have less than 2 minutes left, so perhaps one more question. Right. If we do not have any further questions from the panel of juries, thank you very much for all
Thank
your
you so
time.
much, guys. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Jury members, you may now begin scoring Hello Gold. Please drop a message in the chat room once you're done. Thank you very much. Maha, thank you again once again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alvin.
All right, let's just give a moment for the juries to complete scoring for the previous company. All right, thank you very much. For the 9th company for our competition today, we have Pintera, which is represented by Hamid Rashid, founder of the company. Founded in 2017, Pintera is a company providing blockchain Islamic applications and currently has presence in Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong, and the United Arab Emirates and India. Hamid, over to you and good luck.
Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon to the judges and to the moderator. My name is Hamid Rashid. I am the founder of Pintera. And today I'll share with you what the Finterra solution and the business model is all about. Finterra was founded back in 2017, and we were looking at a very specific problem statement, which is Waqf, or Islamic endowments. And Islamic endowments are basically when an asset, movable or immovable, or even a cash asset, is given into a charity trust. Around the OIC countries, there are trillions of US dollar worth of such assets, and these assets are underutilized or basically not utilized. The key problem with Waqf asset or the Islamic endowment assets is because of the law around these assets and the management of these assets, they do not attract capital investment for development. So to give you an example, if there is a piece of Waqf land and that land has to be developed, it can't be collateralized to the financial institution. So then how do you actually raise fund for any development on that land? So, since many years, it has only been through charity funding and charity crowdfunding. So Finterra came out with a very unique solution for Islamic endowment development funds. Now, Finterra, of course, established back in October of 2017. We are currently about 20 plus staff based in Malaysia. We have a small sales office in Singapore. Hong Kong is where we have a sales representative office, and Abu Dhabi, we are registered as Finterra Limited for our GCC sales. We have very good traction in the Middle East, East Africa, a little bit in North Africa, of course, Malaysia, Singapore, and Indonesia. Our flagship product is called the Waqf chain, or Waqf on the blockchain. And it is kind of a system that has many different IT components, from payment gateway integration to e-wallet to investment financing, crowdfunding, and few other solutions that are put together as a single solution called the Waqf blockchain. The product, because we deal with a lot of data, especially user data, we are certified as an ISO 27000 compliant company by Cybersecurity Malaysia for last 2 years. We also went for independent Sharia audit with Salihin, ISRA, and also Tabafut in Malaysia and Oman. We are certified Sharia platform, meaning it complies to Sharia principles in handling money and all of that. And currently we hold about 690,000 wallets for these activities on the platform from basically global users. Of course, myself, founder, I come from a very hard core technology background. I was ex-Hewlett Packard for many years, and then Petronas ICT. I was in those roles for about 18 years, and then left that with a venture capital fund to start Finterra back in 2017. The co-founder, Satish, comes from a property development background from Singapore, and he's the co-founder. And then Haji Dr. Mazlan comes from Central Bank of Malaysia as head of compliance, and he left Central Bank to join Finterra. We have a group of advisors that we have been working for last 2.5+ years in Sharia. Dr. Hassan Lasasna, who is currently the head of Sharia for Standard Chartered Sadiq. Professor Dr. Syed Khalid Rashid from International Islamic University, specializing in Waqf. Dr. Umar Hosseini, who is currently the CEO of IILM, International Islamic Liquidity Management on Islamic law. And of course, Dr. Kamil in Islamic economics. Other advisors that we have picked up very specifically in Islamic banking and Islamic digital banking from Oman and Dubai. And of course, Dato Manap, who was the ex-CEO of Bank Mamlat and others. We have a team of almost 20 people. These are the heads. We run a development, division. We run a Islamic finance, banking, and Sharia in-house division. We also run marketing and sales division in-house. Now, what the solution is, that it is a single platform where it's a ecosystem like a marketplace where Waqf owners or the Nazirs or the Waqf boards or Awqaf could come onto this platform, register, go through a due diligence process. And once they're registered, they can publish their causes. So those causes could be Waqf Development Fund, or could be cash Waqf, causes. And these causes then get published onto the platform, and notifications are sent out to hundreds of thousands of users, which could be donors or investors. And it could be individuals, corporate CSR, or even trust funds. When they receive the notification, they actually view what this cause is all about, and they are able to contribute funds via multiple payment gateway integration into the platform. So in Malaysia, we have integrated.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, we have come to the end of the 5 minutes allocated for the session. Thank you very much for your presentation. I would now like to invite our panel juries back on stage once again for the Q&A session.
If I may start, thank you very much. You know that the most difficult part in Awqaf is the regulatory framework and the laws and regulations. How you are addressing this challenge?
Because we are coming from a platform provider rather than operating the Waqf. So here we partner with the Waqf board, like in Malaysia, yes, and Waqaf, or in Oman with the Awqaf, right, and in Saudi Arabia with Al Raji Waqf and few others. So they actually have the compliance, and when they publish on the platform, we give them certain guidelines which are universal guidelines. And those universal guidelines are built in-house through our Sharia advisors, and we put them onto the platform. So we will not come in from operating the Waqf. Rather, we just publish what is existing Waqf on the platform for publicity and for raising of funds for either development or for charity.
But you are somehow impacted by the lack of or the mismanagement of Awqaf, etc. Your business model is linked somehow to this kind of challenges.
Yes, so this is the solution that we are providing. We are providing transparency. So once a cause is published, we are giving a whole prospectus on that cause. It brings traceability, how the funds are actually collected, how they are transmitted in the value chain of development, and it gives certain reports which are impact reports available on the platform. So it brings transparency, traceability, and impact using the platform.
Thank you.
We have a question from Inche Ritaudi. You have an interesting solution for Waqf. However, different markets may have different Islamic understanding on Waqf.
Yes.
How do you want to analyze your market?
Okay, so normally Waqf is common law overall, but based on the mazhabs within Islamic, Islamic practice, different countries have adopted to different mazhabs. Like here in Malaysia, Waqf does not allow a ROI payout, but the same thing in Saudi Arabia, India, Indonesia, you could pay out ROI on a Waqf development project. Temporary Waqf is another issue where some countries allow for temporary Waqf and then others don't. Then there are different type of setup of Waqf, whether it is family Waqf, individual Waqf, corporate Waqf, it goes. So these, the knowledge of this was taken from Professor Dr. Syed Khalid Rashid under his 9 textbooks that have been published. And we have adopted the platform basically on different permutations of these laws within the platform. So when the Awqaf or the Waqf board is creating a cause on the platform, at the time of creation, they can configure to what law and to what mazhab they want to comply to. So in Malaysia, if the Yayasan Waqf is publishing a cause, they can only publish a cash Waqf non-ROI cause. They won't be able to give a cause, ROI on it. But the same thing if published in Saudi Arabia or India, Indonesia, then they will be able to give certain percentage. Now, the give out of ROI is based on Islamic financial instruments. So the platform has template-based Mudaraba, Musharaka, Sukuk, Ijara, Wakala contracts that can be used and modified by the boards to create the prospectus and publish into the platform if they're giving a ROI.
What is the progress made in Saudi Arabia, for example? I met you there.
Yes. So recently we have signed a MOU with IDB, Jeddah, and 2 projects have been brought to us by ICD. One is on a charity crowdfunding platform, and another is on a microfinance, which is a startup microfinance type of a platform. So we are negotiating the final agreements with IDB to initiate those projects. Another project is that we have submitted and going through a due diligence with Al Raji Endowments, Riyadh. And because of the lockdown, it's been slow, but we'll be initiating that project. So in Saudi Arabia, a few projects. In Oman, we are looking at already operational few projects. We have in Malaysia and Indonesia multiple projects, and in Kenya as well. So we have recently signed up. So our Q1 2020, we met our sales target. We signed up Kenya Awqaf, Tanzania Awqaf, South Africa Awqaf. All of them have signed contracts to be on our platform and to launch. And in Kenya, we are also, in Tanzania, we are also signing up a contract with Amana Bank, Islamic Bank of Tanzania, to use this platform for collection of fund, accountability, and also the reporting of the Waqf and Zakat funds.
What are the revenues of these contracts so far?
So the revenues, basically, these are our revenue stream from the platform. One is success fee. And we have different type of success fee built into the platform, which is whenever a cause is published and the cause starts collecting fund, we get a certain percentage on the collection of those funds. There's also transaction fee because we are integrating core banking systems into our platform. In Malaysia, we're integrated to FPX with the core banking. In Oman, to Oman Net. And in Saudi Arabia as well, we are looking at integrating not only payment gateway, but the core banking platform. So we are trying to reduce the transaction fee to the minimum. So we are able to charge certain transaction fee and of course subscription fee. We are charging from individual as well as the corporates.
I was asking how much you generated out of these fees.
Okay, so in 2017, because we started the company in Q4, we did about 228K US dollars. In 2018, about 1.3 or 1.8 million US dollars. In 2019, 3.6 million US dollar last year. This year so far, year to date is 1.2 million US dollars. 3.2 million US dollars. And we have a funnel of about 800K that will be covering our numbers for this year. Q1 funnel we met. We have closed all the deals in Q1. Q2 was slow for the lockdown, and we are progressing. So, yes.
Apologies, but we have come to the end of the 5 minutes allocated for the Q&A session.
Sure.
Yep. Thank you very much for all the questions and the answers provided, Inchahami. All right.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Jury members, you may now begin scoring Pintera. As before, please drop a message in the chat room once you're done.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time once again, Inchahami. Thank you. Let's just give a moment for our jury members to complete scoring for the previous company. All right, welcome back. For the final contestant today, we have Impact, which is represented by Alex Tan, founder and CEO of the company. Founded in 2017, Impact is a fintech company that provides aggregation services for information and payment covering mobile recharge, bill payments, government services, insurance, transportation, and many more. Alex, over to you and good luck.
Hi, my name is Alex. I'm the CEO and founder of Impact. Very quick intro on what we do. So we provide businesses with payment and data aggregation capabilities via a single access point. See, the issue businesses are facing is that on average, it will take around 4.5 months to develop a new system or to introduce a new product to their platform. It is very resource intensive and time consuming. What we have done here is that we have built a single access point, allowing businesses of any size, whether you are a bank, e-wallet, insurance, or mobility player, the capabilities to make payment and access rich consumer information. We do 3 things: payment aggregation, information aggregation, and financial aggregation. The first thing that we do is the payment aggregation. We provide payment connectivity to over 100 billers, ranging from mobile top-up, utility, entertainment, transportation, and more. Take, for example, if you're an e-wallet, you can connect to our API, and in less than 10 lines of code, you could introduce 100 over new products on your platform without needing to approach each of the biller by yourself. This is our second pillar, data aggregation. So if you want to provide me your IC number, I have every information about you. I know what is your name, what car do you drive, what is your car plate, when did you sit for your driving test, and any outstanding summons. And here's one of the use cases this can be applied on. So if you were to apply as a Grab driver today, you would have to upload your personal info, your car insurance, and car information. All of these are being manually verified and can take 2 to 3 days. Using our API, we can turn this entire KYC process from days into 10 seconds by just providing IC number and car plate number. The third thing that we do is the financial aggregation, which we are looking to launch by early next year. This is a proven multi-billion business by companies such as Yonli, Plate, and Think. Our API provides full picture of customer savings, credit card, loans, and investment. Our solution is secure as you have no visibility or access of consumers' bank credential, as everything is encrypted and stored locally on user's device. We operate on a revenue sharing model where service provider gives us discount, and a portion of this discount is given to businesses. On average, we get around 0.5% to 2% for every payment executed. As for API requests, we charge approximately 50 cents to ringgit depending on industry segment. Some of our clients here, Shopee, Value by Telenor Group, which owns DG, Pahang Go, DT1 Singaporean company, so they supply mobile recharge to Grab, and indirectly we are supplying it to Grab, MyCash Online. So we started off back in 2018, and from 2018 to December 2019, we have generated over 74 million in transaction value with over 1 million in revenue just on our payment aggregation business. For information aggregation, currently we are rolling it out as a free trial and looking to commercialize by Q4 this year. We target to hit 11 million in revenue by 2022. And I want to show you how easily we can actually achieve this. So Touch 'n Go is doing approximately 3 million a day, and assume that we're getting 0.5% commission, that will give us 5.4 million in gross profit in a year. This is some of our target customer over the next 3 years. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Alex, for the presentation. I would now like to invite our panel of juries back on stage for the Q&A session. Jury members, you may now begin your questions for the 5-minute Q&A session. For our first question from Inchit Ritaudin, question is, Why do you think your potential client will use your services?
Very, very good question. So we actually spoke to one of the top 3 e-wallet in Malaysia. And then from what they say is that right now, the current traditional flow is that, let's say if they want to introduce a new product on their platform, they have to approach each of the biller, get all the agreements signed, and then do all the tech development. So all of that can take around up to 1 year, just based on the discussion, tech implementation, and stuff like that. But businesses can actually choose to use our solution, and then less than 10 lines of code, they can get connected to over 100 over billers without needing to sign any agreement with each of the biller, no tech implementation needed for each of the products. Just connect to us, they would have access to all of our solution.
So, your experience with your customers now, how you assess the feedback? Are they satisfied? And how much you generated as revenue?
So we have generated over 1 million in gross profit the past 2 years. And we are actually now in the midst of, right now we already closed the deal with, so actually in the midst of closing the deal with Post, one of the top 3 wallet in Malaysia as well. So that deal is confirmed. It's pending on their legal to draft all the agreement. And then we have actually gotten the agreement from Touch and Go as well. So all of them are actually looking to connect to us for all their mobile top-up, their bill payments, etc. on our payment aggregation sector.
Who are your competitors and how you go about the competition?
Yeah, so in terms of payment aggregation, we do have some local competitors in Malaysia, like for example, ePay and Post Malaysia. So Post Malaysia, they are predominantly in the physical market, operating as a post office, because they basically cover every single area, including all the rural area where people actually pay their bills and stuff. So people are actually moving towards digital now. And how we actually differentiate from them is that we actually provide a full suite of solutions. So if you were to go with competitors, or if you are going to the banks to pay your bills, right, you can just pay your bill, but you have no visibility of your bills. We can actually, our solution, we can actually display your entire digital, the same bill that you receive physically.
What is your skill mix of your team?
Sorry, say again?
I mean, your team, your composition of your human resources, how much and what is the skill mix in your team?
So we are 7 people in the team.
Yeah, what are your backgrounds?
My background is IT.
No, the other team members.
So most of it is actually, we have 3 people in IT, and then 2 in business, 1 in account, and then 1 in administration.
Okay. Thank you.
We have less than 2 minutes left. We have a question from Inche Ritaudi. You are a third-party payment provider, and there are many players already. How do you plan to differentiate your offering?
So, of course, there are a lot of players out there, but I would say that they are actually our potential clients or our potential customers. Take for example, if you talk about e-wallets, or we talk about e-commerce, Lazada, Shopee, or we talk about all the e-wallets out there. So all of these people, yes, they do have all the existing mobile top-up and bills. But the thing is that when they connect directly with the billers, there is actually a lot of things going on in terms of operation. Even though you've done your tech implementation, there is still a lot of operation going on. You still need to maintain your payment with them. You still need to collect all the feedback and stuff like that. But if they use our solution, we can offer them a full suite of solution, all the products, and then we actually handle, they're just dealing with 1 person instead of dealing with 100 over billers. So it is much more simple and then more cost effective as well.
Right. We're close to the end of the time. Thank you very much for all the questions and feedback provided. Jury members, you may now begin scoring impact As before, drop a message in the chat room once you're done. Alex, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
All right. And with that final presentation from Impact, we have now come to the end of the pitching session for today's competition. Allow us to take a quick break while our jury members and organizers tally up the final overall scores for the competition. Overall winner and national champion for Malaysia will be announced after the closing remarks by the representative from our co-organizer, Encik Nurhizal. Please stay tuned until the end of the event today. All right, welcome back to the closing segment of the Malaysian chapter of the AIM Startups Virtual Pitch Competition. Before we announce the overall winner for today's competition, we would like to invite Encik Nurhizam Abdul Qadir, Vice President of the FinTech and Islamic Digital Economy Division at MDEC, to say a few words as part of the closing remarks. Encik Nurhizam, over to you.
Thank you, Elvin. I think it is a real interesting, I don't want to call it experimentations because we need to get use of doing online pitching like this a lot more, I think, in the years to come. We just witnessed 10 great tech entrepreneurial talents from various verticals. I am very excited, and I'm sure that the sentiments is also shared by other jury members. The presentations were clear in terms of the values that the products and services that were delivered. They were clear as well in terms of the problems that they're addressing. And this comes from all 10 companies. I'm also excited to see these companies' growth strategies, and each and every one of you were able to articulate how you are able to expand to new markets or to new verticals, while at the same time managing the burn rate of as you scale further. I'd like to thank RHL and AIM for organizing this opportunity for our tech startups. I want to wish all companies the best, regardless whether you win or not in this competition. And the journey that you are undertaking is much bigger than, it's a bigger life journey. And continue to hustle. And for the winner, I wish all the best and good luck. And please raise the flag high in Dubai.
All right.
Alvin?
Thank you, Encik Nurhizam. Let us now all invite all the jury members back on stage once again for the announcement of the winner. All right, and now for the much awaited moment. Overall, I think we have a very competitive pool of contestants today, and all participants are amazing in their own way and have demonstrated their respective strengths and unique propositions in the sectors that they operate in. Without further ado, Encik Nurhizam, would you like to have the honors to announce the overall winner for the Malaysian chapter of the AIM Startups Virtual Pitch Competition?
Sure. I'm double checking your message actually, because I don't want to be saying the wrong winner. All right. The company who's going to be representing Malaysia to the AIM Congress Startup Competitions in Dubai. The winner is, congratulations to GoGet.
Okay. Congratulations to GoGet and Francesca. Jury members, would you like to say a few words?
Everyone hear me?
Congratulations.
No, can't hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Can anyone hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you, Francesca.
Can anyone hear me? Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
So much. It is a great honor to receive the decision. Kind of watching everyone's pitches really was amazing to kind of see the different areas that everyone's impacting. And I really just hope that we can do Malaysia proud as we carry on to the next stage. And that through so many pitches today, there's already so many areas that I feel we could even collaborate and partner together. So thank you once again for all the judges who has made the decision, and I really, really appreciate it. We're really, really grateful, and I guess really hope that we can do everyone proud in the next stage.
Right. Congratulations once again to Goget and Francesca. We are very proud to have you represent Malaysia at the final AIM 2020 Global Startups Champions League in Dubai later this year. All right. With that in mind, thank you once again to all the jury members, contestants, and members of the organizing team for being part of today's competition. On behalf of the co-organizers, RHL Ventures and MNEC, we would like to express our sincere gratitude and appreciation to the AIM team and the UAE's Ministry of Economy for the opportunity to host the Malaysian chapter of the AIM Startups Virtual Pitch Competition. The annual investment meeting is still scheduled to take place in the fourth quarter of this year. So for more updates on the latest developments and the annual investment meeting event, please stay tuned to www.aimcongress.com.
Not really sure what to do next.
For everyone's information, a replay of today's event will be made available on the AIM Annual Investment Meetings YouTube channel in due course. Thank you once again and have a great evening.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you.